The wonderful world of Disney. For generations, children dreamt of the day they made their way to the House of Mouse, a magical place where dreams came true and parents knew every penny was worth it. Walt Disney was a genius. The Imagineers engineered endless wonderment, entertainment, and excitement. There was no place on Earth a young mind would rather be than with Mickey, Minnie, and Disney. Not anymore. Disneyworld is in transition. The Magic Kingdom wakes up from a nightmare on Main Street and casts a new spell to wake the world up with a magic cup of sweet social justice. Walt Disney, who is he? Down on your knee, Mickey. Here is how Disneyworld has joined the modern world and made the House of Mouse a park of woke creation.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Disneyland...
Wrong since 1971. In the Age of Enlightenment, Disney has removed all mentions of males and females from their park announcements. Why? The reason is simple, because gender is not. As of 2024, there are not 2 genders, 3 genders, or even a baker's dozen. There are in fact 107. As Disney's diversity and inclusion manager Vivian Ware says, we must
engage with our guests in a meaningful and inclusive way.
Never again will a trigender, a tum-tum, or a two-spirit Mickey Mouser endure park announcement prejudice. Does Disney now welcome guests with a greeting longer than a Shakespearean soliloquy? To be or not to be, just don't forget to include me. The new announcement makes the world a better place and welcomes
dreamers of all ages.
Great news, unless you're insomniac, narcoleptic, or ageless. Back to the drawing board, Disney. Why not just welcome everyone?
Splash Mountain. It may look peaceful and fun, but...
Splash Mountain, named after a movie based on a song. All was groovy until it became allegory for slavery. In the 1980s, Disney CEO Michael Eisner had a pre-teen park problem. No teens were buying tickets. To prize them away from their Nintendos, the Imagineers imagined a fast and ferocious log flume with one almighty splash. The rest was history. Splash Mountain was a splashing success and Disney surfed a tsunami of park profits. There was no controversy. During construction, the Imagineers were careful. They zipped Uncle Zip, pruned any mention of plantations, and put the spotlight on comedy cartoon characters. However, the Imagineers could not imagine 30 years into the future, a future in which all art, all architecture, and all attractions would adhere to a new modern principle. If it comes from a problematic past, it must be ripped up, torn apart, or thrown in the trash. CEO Bob Iger said Song of the South had no place in a modern Disney. The fate of Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, and Brer Bear was clear. The legendary log flume logged its last ride in 2023 and shipped off to Tokyo. It has no place in a modern Disney, but it does have a place in a modern Japan. This summer, America welcomes a new attraction, an attraction sure to get every dreamer wet with excitement. Tiana's Bayou Adventure, based on the much-loved Disney classic, The Princess and the Frog. Splash Mountain transforms from a racist ridge into a happy hill with a beautiful rainbow.
An entirely new kind of family entertainment. Pirates of the Caribbean.
The last Disney ride, envisioned and overseen by the great man himself, Pirates of the Caribbean spawned 5 Hollywood blockbusters and generated $4.5 billion at the box office. Johnny Depp as Captain Jack was a cultural phenomenon. The original smash hit ride stood the test of time for 50 years, until the Pirates of the Caribbean were revealed to be complete and utter sexists. During the ride, the 17th century scallywags loot treasure, torch villagers, and drink with abandon. But there is one offence that is far too offensive for modern riders. No, not the killing, but the selling of local women in an auction. A dark truth in history, but no longer appropriate for a dark ride at Disney. In 2017, the auction scene had a modern makeover. The women were gone, the redhead was dead, now she's a queen leading the pirates instead. History must make way for a motorcade of modern values. Sorry, Walt.
You feel that danger is lurking behind every log? Well, it is.
An adventurous cruise through the jungle, replete with man-eating tigers, forbidden temples, and a swarm of leaping piranha. Jungle Cruise thrilled generations of parkgoers since its original inception in 1955. Walt Disney based the iconic attraction on two movies he produced himself, The African Lion and The African Queen. A product of their time, Jungle Cruise was a time capsule, a ride into the heart of darkness. This is what Walt and people of his generation imagined of the deepest, darkest jungles in Africa and Asia. In 2021, that all changed. Jungle Cruise was no longer a captivating trip through the old ways of the old world, but a riverboat ride through racism. An unconscionable colonial cruise. In response, the man selling the shrunken heads sunk. The natives throwing spears disappeared. The white explorer and his expedition chased by a rhino replaced by modern explorers. Jungle Cruise is no longer the heart of darkness. It's a brightly lit safe space.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Beautiful.
That was a mighty big song, Trixie.
It sure ain't all that's big.
Boys, watch your manners.
The Country Bear Jamboree. What do you see? Country bears singing and total misogyny. In 1971, the Magic Kingdom opened its doors, and the world opened its hearts to a rambunctious bunch of hillbilly animatronic bears. They were such an instant hit for Disney that there were calls for summer specials, winter specials, and even their own movie. The bears made the big time, but 50 years later, time ran out. In 2023, the bears got buried, songs that made hearts sing for generations confined to the dustbin of Disney history. What was the problem? The country bears were country catcallers.
Swinging Teddy Barra. Swing it, Teddy. Wow-wee.
They sang about
a woman ain't pretty, but she don't swear none. She's kinda heavy, don't weigh a ton.
Mama, don't whoop little Buford. I think you should shoot him instead.
Bang!
and girl bears sing of all the guys who
Turn me down, turn me down.
The country bears cross lines no animatronic bears should ever cross. This summer, new and improved country bears will return with songs for modern audiences. Likely gone is the catcalling, now only bear praising. All living beautiful, no matter how many trips to the fridge. A mama bear who identifies as a daddy bear, and girl bears who don't care about their looks. Instead, they read books and get PhDs. The country bears won't even be country bears anymore, for they'll no longer believe in borders. After nearly 70 years of sexism, racism, and park announcement prejudice, Disneyworld has turned a corner. The pirates are now led by a strong and independent redhead. The animatronic bears are no longer animatronic assholes. Splash Mountain is now Safe Space Mountain, and Jungle Cruise is Jungle Modern. Disney's transition is complete. From Magic Kingdom to Woke Wonderland, Disney World will never be the same again.
What you see today is Disneyland, but it all started from a daddy with two daughters wondering where he could take them, where he could have a little fun with them too.